My name is Jenny and I'm from Next Chapter Home Decor. Today I'm going to show you a little craft project where we're recovering a book. I found some cheap books at the Dollar Tree. This one had a nice paper binding on it, and I went ahead and gave it a coat of white chalk paint. After that, you can see I used a decoupage paper. This is a decoupage paper that is from the Roycycled Treasures design, and it is one of the Halloween blocks, I believe. And I will link it if it's still available in this video. So I went ahead and I used my Locator Wonder Enamel Clear Matte as my decoupage medium. I don't want a real big shine on this because I want it to look old. So I used that to apply the decoupage paper. After I applied it, then I went over it with another coat of matte. Let that dry, and now what I'm doing is I'm going to use the classic Crackle varnish from Pentart. This is step 1, or component 1, and I'm dipping my brush in there. Now, you don't have to use a perfect brush for this, it just has to be clean and dry. When I say that, I mean that I don't care if there are brush strokes. I kind of want there to be brush strokes, so you can see I'm kind of just going back and forth with like the crosshatch pattern, and that gives it more texture, and I seem to like that look in the Crackle because I didn't want mine to be perfect. You can definitely do linear, which you would just paint straight brush strokes and it would be a more linear Crackle. It's completely up to you, whatever you want. But I go ahead and put a generous amount on there. It depends on how much you want. I think if you put it thicker, it will make a deeper crack. So I go ahead and do that. Make sure to replace your lids. The stuff dries out pretty fast. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my hair dryer. I like using a hair dryer because it has a cooler setting on it than the heat guns or the crafting tools, which I use too. But for this, I like to use this because it's a little cooler and keep that heat and air moving around. You do not want to scorch it, you do not want to burn it, and you do not want it to dry too fast. Okay, after that's dry, and make sure it feels cool to the touch, then I go along and I put in the step 2 classic Crackle medium. But I want to show you something. With this, I use the special brush. So I have taper on that brush to show me that this is my step 2 brush because I want it to have nice soft bristles. I don't want there to be any gunked up paint or hard bristles in there. I want it to go on nice and smooth, and I want to make sure that it's clean and dry. So with this one, again, you don't have to use straight lines or good brush strokes. You can just put it on any old way. So that's what I'm doing, and after I get this put on, then we'll let this dry, or I might, for the sake of recording, dry it with my hairdryer again. Okay, now I'm going to give that some time to dry on its own too. So while I do that, I'm going to prepare this little fabric tag that I got from my friend Sage at Charmed by Sage. She's on Facebook and she makes the best fabric tags. Anyway, I grabbed this one. It's the Apothecary and Halloween tags, but I will link them too. I think she's still making them. If not, she makes great fabric tags for all kinds of occasions. So you might want to hop over and check them out. So anyway, what I'm doing is I'm kind of just dirtying it up a little bit so it looks good with the old look of the book that I'm going for. Okay, so to give this book a little bit more age and to make those crackles kind of pop and stand out, I'm gonna fill them in with some Debbie's DIY Dark and Decrepit. Basically, it's like a dust, and I use this with the little brush. I spread it around, and then I even use my finger, and I just spread it in all of those little cracks, and all of a sudden, magic, all those little crackles appear. So I do this throughout the whole book, front, back, and the binding. So you can get it as dark or as light as you want, and then you can wipe it back. You can use just a paper towel. If you know you got way too much on there, you could use a wet wipe or a wet paper towel. But I just used a dry paper towel and went over it and wiped back what I really didn't want on there. It's kind of dusty, so you're going to make a little bit of a mess. So you'll have to be sure that you clean that up and it doesn't get all over everything else. But If I were smart, I'd have a little container under there or something I could just lift up, and then I could put that dust back into the jar and save it, but I didn't think that through this time. So anyway, that's what I'm doing to get it even more distressed and looking more spooky and Halloweenish. Now that the dust is in there and I've wiped it back, I'm going to seal that in so the dust doesn't keep coming off. I use my 1 hour enamel clear matte for this too, and it's just a top coat that I use to seal. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to seal this. This stuff dries really fast. You just need a thin layer over the whole thing and then give it a light drying, just like you've been doing with the Crackle mediums and even decoupaging. So you just step after step make this book look a little older, a little more authentic, and a little bit more spooky. Okay, so I'm going to give you a close-up. If you look real close, you're going to see those little crackles showing up. Every time I turn it, you might get a different view and the light might catch it. So in person, I can see them very easily. On camera, it might be a little harder, but it gives it that crackly look, like it's old and it's aged and it's wonderful. Now, when you decoupage something, and I've shown decoupage videos before, what I like to do is to take my decoupage paper off crisp. I use a little piece of sandpaper and I go along and I sand it, but sometimes that can leave a little bit of a white paper showing through. So I grab that distress ink pad again and go all the way around those edges so that you don't see any white. Remember, we want it to look old. And then I just went back in, and sometimes it's kind of nice to highlight the edges and where it might look even more worn. And with this one, I just went for it and went over the whole cover again and kind of made it all look even older than it was looking. Okay, now for some more fun. I'm putting this little thin strip down here through the middle, and then I will start layering just a bunch of different ribbons that I have. So you just kind of loop them and then leave a tail at one end and just keep looping back and forth until you have no more left. You can cut it off to whatever desired length you want, but I call this like a little messy bow. You've probably seen them made before, but this is my messy bow. I probably combined 5 or 6 different ribbons that I got. I believe I found these in like a pack of assorted ribbons at Hobby Lobby. But I just back and forth loop it, and then at the end We'll pull it up, we'll tie it off, and then I can flip it over and tie it tighter, and then I will have made just a cute little bow with ease. You don't have to hold onto it with your fingers and where they start aching. This holds it on there for you, so it's kind of a neat tool. It's called a Bodabra. Okay, so this is where I take that ribbon that I fed through sideways and I just tie it into a knot and pull it really tight, and then you just pull the whole thing up, and then you can tie it even more securely after that. And then I've got this long ribbon hanging from the end, which is what I wanted, because I'm going to show you in the next step how I wrap that around and kind of position it on the book. Okay, now that I've decided where I want it placed, I go ahead and I actually tie that around the whole book, which is kind of neat because it keeps that book closed. Therefore, no one can really see what book it was. So it just looks like a Halloween book. Be great for a coffee table. You could stand it up on a shelf for a display. You could put it in a dough bowl or a box, whatever, displayed with other Halloween things. So I tie it off in the back, and then it's kind of hard to do. It's like when you're wrapping a present. But I had a hard time. I didn't want to, hold on to the ribbon with my mouth on camera. So that's what I usually do. So I went ahead and just tied it. And then when it was a little bit too loose, I realized all I had to do was then twist the ribbon and keep twisting it, and it tightened up really nicely. And then I'll show you in the next step how I attach it. Okay, so to attach the bow and the tag, I'm going to use some hot glue. And so I put hot glue down underneath quite a bit of it, and then I just press that bow down into it, and then you can kind of fluff it and rearrange it as you see fit. But it's going to make a great place for me to tuck that little tag in. And you'll see when I tuck the tag in order to give it a little bit of dimension, so it's not just flat against the book, I put a little glue on the back of it, and then I stick it up underneath the bow. And what I can do then is just kind of pinch the end of it, and it kind of crinkles it a little bit, so it gives it that bow or ripple look. So I did that, and then I even kind of played around with it and glued it down a little bit further, giving it just a little bit more movement and dimension. So that was that. here she is, all cute and ready for Halloween. So I hope you enjoyed this. It's really easy to do. And I have other decoupage videos out there, so if you want to learn how to do that, you can go ahead and follow along. My name is Jenny, and I'm from Next Chapter Home Decor. I hope to see you soon.